5 steps to creating spectacular content with the help of AI with Arpad Balogh. In Search SEO podcast is brought to you by Rank Ranger, the all-in-one SEO platform that helps scale your business through data and analytics. Hey, it's David. Is it really possible to create all your content on an automated basis using AI? That's what we're going to be discussing today with a man who has a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and is an amateur singer who wants to be famous. He has a website where he creates weird stories using AI, and he helps small businesses learn SEO, and he's also Senior SEO Strategist at Ardor SEO. A warm welcome to the In Search SEO podcast, Arpad Balogh.
Thank you very much, David, for having me. And yeah, it's going to be a pleasure to be talking about AI today. So what I'm going to be talking about today is really the state of AI, kind of the AI generation, and how you can use these tools. Because what I've seen, David, most of the time in SEO communities and in a lot of forums, that people are not really aware of how to, generate good content with AI. And I think AI content today is definitely not at the state where, you can just press a button and, just generate perfect content. It still needs that human interaction. But if you do things right, you can get spectacular content out of our AI. So first of all, I just would like to mention a little bit about the behinds of AI and how it works. I'm definitely not a coder, so I don't actually know the insides of it and how AI is built up and how they code it. But I used a lot of AI tools. I tested a lot of them, and I generally know how they worked and how to use them. So most of the AI tools I have tried out are built using the GPT-3, which is a machine learning model trained using internet data to basically generate any type of text. And it's developed by OpenAI, which was founded by a lot of people, but most of all, what I like the most is Elon Musk. He's kind of has his hands in everything, so it seems like today. And he thinks AI is dangerous, but I really think, AI can be helpful, and it is really helpful. It makes people's lives easier and, takes away most time-consuming tasks.
Yeah, well, a few years ago, Elon certainly was very negative, very down about AI. But nowadays, he's kind of jumped on the bandwagon and thinking, well, if you can't beat them, join them, and I'm going to lead them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in Tesla's as well, it has a kind of, it uses machine learning as well, just to kind of, detect roads and how they are built, what kind of roads the people are kind of driving on. And it builds up this huge database of roads. And that's how basically the Teslas can self-drive, because it has this database. And I think that uses AI as well. So it's it has a lot of use cases. Right now, we already, of course, talking about content, but I can imagine a lot of these tools, a lot of these works that people do now, dangerous works and stuff like that, could be replaced by machines driven by AI. So it's really, really interesting. And another really interesting stuff is actually GPT-3 is trained on 45 terabytes of data. So that includes Common Crawl, which is about 400 billion pages on the internet, so websites. It is trained on books. It is trained on Wikipedia. So it just has a huge amount of data. And another, just like we talked about use cases, it's not only used for content generation. There's been a lot of guys on Twitter and other social networks and other posts, people use it actually for code writing, and it can help you actually write software, which to me is pretty mind-blowing. So yeah, there's been a really a surge recently in these types of software. I can see a lot of them in Google ads, like Facebook, a lot of SEO communities, of course, a lot of AppSumo deals, you can get a lifetime deal. It really seems like, everyone and their mother is making AI tools now.
So you're like interviewing Dwayne Forrester. I don't know if you know Dwayne Forrester. With Dwayne Forrester, you can ask him one question and then you can just leave for 10 minutes and you can come back and he's still going to be sharing great information. It's a compliment though. Look, you were talking about different tools out there and it's great to have that background of AI in general. But what would you say are some of the best AI tools out there that can be used to create content?
So I would say, I mean, I have tested a lot. The most recent I tested is Closer's Copy, but there's like, there's been a surge of these AI tools recently. So like a lot of, you can find a lot of these tools. To be honest with you, and I'm an affiliate, but I won't post my affiliate link, of course, here now. With Jasper, and you mentioned before the show that you used Jasper or Jarvis or Conversion AI before. It's quite interesting because their name was Jarvis, and Disney approached them that, hey, you shouldn't probably use Jarvis in your name because we will sue you, and that's why they kind of translated into Jasper right now. So I might mess up like Jarvis and Jasper throughout the show, but I really think Jasper is the only tool right now yet on the market that produces content that's actually usable. And Jasper has like a function that most AI tools don't, which is it's called, basically in their system it's called boss mode, which lets you give specific comments instructions to the AI itself, so you're able to talk. Because a lot of these tools, how they work is they give you templates, they give you certain boxes like you can fill in, like, hey, generate questions and answers. But with Jasper, you're actually able to give like specific instructions, like, hey, write me a metadata using the text above or something like that. So something that's not actually in a template, but you can think of it yourself.
So when I tried Jarvis, as it was then Jasper now, I think the only reason that I felt that it wasn't particularly useful for me is because there was quite a short limit, I felt, on the amount of content that could be produced. Is that still the case? What's the largest length of content that can be produced from that tool?
They recently changed a pricing structure. So with I have a personal account, and we have an account at my company as well, Arpad SEO. We are grandfathered into the unlimited plan of Jasper. If you're joining now, I agree, it's a little bit pricey, and you have different options, like how much can you actually generate. I think it's maybe the lowest option is 30,000 words or something like that, which you can pretty much outdo if you're just starting out. But what I'm going to share with you today is basically how you can limit this and actually get out good content. But if you have the unlimited plan, it's like really unlimited. So it's like, you can generate any type of content, like in any limit. So I would say it's now it's the kind of the lowest plan is 30,000, and it's upwards then how much you want to pay. And boss mode, of course, is a little bit pricier as well. But again, like this, Jasper is a little bit pricier than the competitors, but at the same time, because they are more pricey, they're able to have like a full team behind the curtains, and train the AI, give you templates, give you functionalities. They really are working on making it better and better and better. And of course, when GPT-4 will come out, which I don't know when it will, but it's going to be it's going to have a lot more data. It's going to be much more interesting, and I'm really excited to see like how advanced will it be.
So today you're going to be sharing your 5 steps to creating spectacular content with the help of AI. So starting off with number 1, research. Yes, David, exactly. I think where a lot of people mess up with these AI tools is they think really it's a magic pill. I mean, I think it's in the human nature. Like, you want to have a magic pill that, like, you press one button, you take one pill, and all of your problems go away. But what I see in communities, because I'm in several like kind of these SEO communities and AI communities as well, and what I see is when people are not happy, generally what they do
or what they've done is like they spent 5 minutes in the software, maybe enter the keyword, press generate, and they didn't really like the content, and it's like they refund it. But we have to understand that this is not a content generating machine yet. So the AI is not the content generating machine yet. It's kind of like an AI writing assistant. So there is still that that human factor that has to be used in order for good content to come out of these tools. And while GPT-3 has like 45 terabytes of data, it doesn't mean it necessarily knows about every single topic you want to write about.
So by research, what elements do you need to put into the machine in order to actually produce results that a reader would be happy with?
That's a really good question, because I think that's one of the things that I said people get wrong, is not putting enough data into these kind of AI writing tools. I mean, a lot of these tools like Jasper has this content editor where you can input data. Other tools like cheaper, like Closer's Copy, for example, as far as I could test, it just works on templates. You cannot really prime it with data. But the most important thing is really just to put data into the content editor of the software. So what kind of information can you put? Really, pretty much anything. And it's pretty interesting. I'll spill the beans on how we basically use this tool to write copy, which it can write information articles, but at the same time, you can use it to write copy and give you ideas. So what we do is every client that we get, we basically do a story brand framework for them. So story brand is a framework is basically based on the book of Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand. It's an awesome marketing book. So if you have the chance, read it. And it's based on the basic principles of a story. So if you have watched a movie or you read a fantasy book, you already know this, but it helps you basically build a framework or build marketing material that helps you communicate better with your audience and give clear marketing, text basically. So how it builds up is, every story builds starts with a character. Then that character encounters a problem. Then that character meets a guide. Then that guide gives the character a plan, how to solve that problem, and then calls them to action. And then the story can end in success, or the guide can help you avoid failure. So why I'm telling this is because by completing this kind of story brand framework with all of our customers, we get a bunch of information about the client, the motivations, the customer avatar, every bit of really information we need for the copy. So back to AI, how we actually use this in AI is, we get this story brand framework and we just simply copy paste it into the AI tool. And it's really interesting, like how clever it is, once you add that content, it basically goes back, reads the content, understands it, and if you give it a command like, hey, write me a catchy headline for my front page of my website, it will actually, as I said, go back, read the content, understand who your customer is according to that data, and actually write you content that is relates to that. And pretty, you have to try it a few times, but actually, it writes good content, versus if you just, don't add any information, just say write me a catchy headline, it will be pretty much generic, because it uses data from its current database.
So that was step number 2, make an outline. Step number 3 is use these tools to generate content.
Yes. So I just want to really a little bit step back to maybe step 2 a little bit to make an outline, because I think you still kind of have to make an outline to have the AI tool complete kind of the small sections of that copy. Because what I've found is really AI tools yet, I mean, I'm sure in maybe 10, 20 years, like we talked about, maybe they'll be able to, just talk to them and generate perfect content. But right now, what they are best for is kind of filling out the blanks in your text. So giving it like a proper structure, headings. You can go into Google and look at people also ask questions and give it proper headings. Honestly, like you would order a content from a copywriter. What you do is basically send the copywriter or a simple writer a structure, okay, these are the things that you should talk about. I mean, that's pretty much what you have to do with the AI tool as well. Have it fill the blanks. So that's why it's important to have a structure. And if you want, you can go into Google, type in your keyword, look at people also ask questions, people also search for. You can even look at image entities, so to kind of get ideas what you should talk about.
And in terms of the content generating process, what's the most effective way to do it to deliver a high quality piece of content? I mean, for example, if you're producing a lengthy blog article, do you just want to take sections of that proposed blog post at a time and then generate that, review it, and then move on to the next one?
Yes. So I think really, as we talked about, like priming it with information first. So what's the kind of the content audience, like what you wanted to talk about. You can give it a description about the article, like who should it talk to, what's the goal of the article, what it should be about. And then of course having that structure, now you have like a clear structure, and then just going into the blanks really, and just you can basically in Jasper, for example, you can click a button and it will automatically fill the blanks, or you can give the comment to the tool. Like you can go into a section like I don't know, like an SEO tips or something like that in an article, and it actually give it a comment like, hey, expand on this section, or hey, explain this section. So really, to generate good content, you don't really have to be an AI whisperer, so to say. I always, how I explain it to people that haven't been using AI tools is just talk to it like you would talk to a human, really, because the comments that you give to, for example, a content writer is like, hey, I want this section, I want it to be about this, explain this section. So really, it's just like talking to a person. It's easy as that.
And then step number 4 is make an SOP for shortening your process.
Exactly. So David, I think anyone who does something regularly should have an SOP. I mean, working in an agency gives you kind of that perspective, just like by onboarding people and like having tasks like audits and a lot of stuff that you have to do regularly. So I think anything that you do regularly, you should have an SOP for. First of all, it can make your time more kind of valuable, of course, because then you can outsource it, make your company more profitable, and it can make you more efficient as well. Because if you think about it, like if I do, for example, let's take SEO audits for an example, I do it like 1,000 times a year, for example, I might, miss out on some small things that are important if I don't have an SOP. So you should really have an SOP on gathering information, making a structure, on what kind of comments to use, and really what kind of comments work best for you, because you might have a specific way of kind of talking to the AI. So really, you should build an SOP for all of this, and this can also make kind of shorten the process of AI content writing, because you already know, okay, I want to write an information article. First, I have to do this and this and this, and when you have an SOP, you can, as I said, you can outsource it. So all you have to do is get it to a virtual assistant, and all you have to do is just pass it into Jasper, or you can share your Jasper access with them or invite them as a team member.
Or maybe in the future, you can get your Tesla bots to understand your SOP and manage the exactly. AI content generation on your behalf. That would be AI managing AI.
Yeah, it's quite, and it's a little bit, to be honest, I'm a little bit afraid of, robots and kind of, so it's a little bit kind of seems dangerous as well. It's like, let's not go to the Terminator lengths of AI, let's just stop at content creation.
I think it might be hard to stop it, but hopefully we're a few years away from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Step number 5 is optimize AI content with Surfer SEO. So what's Surfer SEO?
So Surfer SEO is an optimization tool, an SEO optimization tool. Most people use it for content optimization, but I mean, it has a ton of other features like SERP Explorer. You can check different kind of correlations between rankings and certain signals. I mean, but if I'm a small business owner, what I'll be mostly looking at, for example, is, when writing AI content, is the content editor section. So what you need to know, or what the audience needs to know, is AI writing tools at the moment aren't really able to produce SEO optimized content. I mean, Jasper, for example, has the option to add like 3 keywords, and it will kind of, sprinkle in the keywords that you added, but it's not like it's not SEO optimizing. So what Surfer SEO can do is basically look at what type of entities. So entities are basically words and that are known by Google, and it's in database. So for example, Apple is an entity. It can be a brand, or it can be, the food that you eat. So that's an entity. And basically Surfer SEO can look at these entities, find them, and it can show like how long your content needs to be, what type of entities do you need to include in your content to be on topic and actually be able to rank. It has like a score from 0 to 100 on how optimized your content is. So really all you have to do is just as simple as it is, type in your keyword what you want to rank for. Surfer SEO will generate an outline for you, add the content, and then optimize according to that. And one plus option even before that, what you can do is drop your content into Hemingway app, which will basically help you to make your content better, not in terms of SEO optimization, but in writing. So maybe used a lot of passive voice, so you have to be more active, or maybe the paragraphs are actually too hard to understand. So yeah, that's basically Surfer SEO is. And once you get a good score in a Surfer SEO, then you're pretty much SEO optimized. Of course, there are a lot of steps to be taken after that, but that's for another episode.
That's great. Some great advice there. So is there any automated way of taking your content from Jasper to Surfer SEO, or from Jasper to Hemingway to Surfer SEO? Because I'm just imagining in my head it'd be good if there was a zap to do that.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. Early when Jasper was released, Surfer SEO the Surfer SEO team jumped straight to it, and they included an integration with Surfer SEO. So what you can do is there's basically a view in Jasper where you can see on the left hand side of your screen you can see Surfer SEO, and on the right hand side of the screen you can see Jasper. And as you're creating content, you can copy and paste and actually generate content inside there and optimize on the go. But what's crazy as well is Surfer is also working on an AI writing tool at the moment, and they're incorporating it into their editor. It's in beta and I couldn't get access yet, but I think it's really going to be good. And I'm interested a little bit like how will maybe they solve like adding entities into AI generated content as well.
So lots to think about there. I think that even if you're not actively using AI to generate content at the moment, it's something that SEOs, content writers need to be aware of, so they know when is the point in the future where it's going to be good enough, where they can perhaps introduce certain elements of their content as AI generated content. Perhaps it's not their key pages, their home pages, their more important traffic pages on their site, but maybe other pages on their site it's important to experiment with a little bit. Is that how you'd actually recommend people to get started with it?
Yes and no. So if you're starting out, like just maybe getting so as I said, these are like kind of AI content writing like helping tools to maybe if your writers are maybe don't find kind of I don't know, ideas like what to write, or kind of can't really solve the structure of what to write about. It can be a great kind of addition to your team. So what we've did is, we trained all our writers to be able to use AI to generate content, and it sped up the content creation process by 200-300%. It's like has been crazy because it's like when you're writing, you can't get that thing which is writer's block, which is like, oh, what should I write about? And if you're just generating content with AI, then it's got solved because okay, these are all these ideas I should write about. On the other hand, we've been pretty successful in generating ranking content. So just of course not purely by AI, we have to edit it, but creating ranking content, and as well copy for our customers' websites, which has been They liked it. Of course, we had to edit it a little bit, but it's like it's taking a lot of work out of the process for sure.
Interesting stuff. Well, let's finish off with
the Pareto pickle.
So Pareto says you can get 80% of your results from 20% of your efforts. What's one SEO activity that you would recommend that provides incredible results for modest levels of effort?
I was thinking about this a lot, and I wouldn't say like an technical SEO activity, I would say, so most likely SEO people are going to be listening to this podcast as well as small business owners. But I think what most SEOs are lacking is selling, marketing, just like how to position themselves. So what I would recommend is actually, reading books, maybe listening to podcasts, learning marketing, or just, getting on sales calls, getting on client calls, even just like learning how to talk to clients, because you might be the best SEO in the world, but if you don't know how to position yourself, how to sell yourself or your services, of course, then it's going to be just a waste.
I love that take on it. Great advice. Yeah, keep on reading. You mentioned Story Brand earlier on. That's an audiobook that I've listened to actually as well. It's good just to get yourself on that that wheel of continuing education. Get that subscription or whatever you need just to keep that additional alternative thought process going into your head. Well, a lot to think about there. I've been your host, David Bain. You can find Arpad over at slothio.com. Arpad, thanks so much for being on the In Search SEO podcast.
Thank you very much, David, for having me. And if you have any questions about AI, feel free to hit me up. Thank you again.
And thank you for listening. Check out all the previous episodes and sign up for a free trial of the Rank Ranger platform over at rankranger.com.